Icon Radio, your number one entertainment plug.
Hello, everyone. The debate has started before it has started. We're the Radio's crew on radio. This is The Vault with me, Myra Maloba, the Afro-Punk Queen, alongside
Rongi kama kawa, unajua tena mabishano ndio zetu.
This pretty boy swag. Oshea Gambino hapa.
Hey.
It's the BeatMekah, not the beat taker.
What are we doing today in studio? What is the style sense with the OGs here? What's going on? What's happening?
The world is grey.
We are going back to the days of Fubu, numbers. What's going on?
One thing I know, old is cool.
Old is gold.
No, old is cool.
Okay, so it's cool. Alright, it's cool. Jimmy,
at the same time, old in a school.
This is hip hop. Hip hop is about keeping it real.
Oh gosh,
oh, yeah.
It's such an interesting twist. It's okay. You should have told us a memo. You should have given us a memo and says, listen, we're taking it back to 1995, circa 1999. This is how we're supposed to look, so that me and Oshea also with it.
I tried to dress like Gambino, but it was just not working.
It was not working. You weren't pretty enough.
You're
too G.
Model in the house.
Yeah.
Oh God.
We do this each and every Thursday from 10 to 12. And we stream this on www.iconradio.co.ke. Remember, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, all on Icon Radio KE. Share, subscribe, comment, like, join the conversation. Let us know how you're loving the shows, because we do love to interact with you. We do love to hear from you. It's been a crazy one. We've been getting mad feedback from the ciphers. The ciphers have been making their rounds. Guys are feeling it. We had Bogi Genje. Next we had very Nkaliwao. The queen of battle rap. It's been a crazy time. Rongi has been the plug. Thank you so much for that.
Kamaka, yo, Oshea. I used to think you'll be over there with me. Come on.
Push me out, man.
How are you?
You need to change your name to be Oshea aka Mteja.
No, I was there with you by then. Let's take up a video.
No.
Then you pushed me out. Like,
today,
this thing.
Sweja.
Oh, okay.
Sweja.
What's the job? No.
Today, Oshea, you must grace the microphone. Not this one.
Today
you have to drum in the cipher.
Gambino model.
You better be by the time Nani Rongi hits that kang.
I'll be there.
You are there right next to you.
Yeah, bro. Walafu unafaa kuja na ngamia Holande. Ngamia.
You can give more milk than the cup.
That's a new one. Ngamia. Hey, Hitch. We're sending out my love.
Free Hitch,
man.
He's not in studio today. We're showing mad love for him. We are waiting for him to come back and tell his story, because that's good content. But yes.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yo, niulize tunapeleka hiyo maziwa na mkate wapi kwanza?
Ati Hitch akirudi ana drop album.
Drop album.
Atashika LP pala I drop hivi anambia I dropped an album.
We got mad love for Hitch with him in spirit. He's our people's man. He's our people's. So yes, let's get straight into the conversation. But before that, I gotta give a plug to DJI Brandon Studios, because without DJI Brandon Studios, we wouldn't be here today. That is our plug for everything audio and visual, yani audio visual. And they've got everything from studios, collapsible studios, convertible studios, to also the booth, and of course this room that we're in, the podcast room, aka Icon Radio as well. So yes. Jimmy called me earlier because he's like, Maze, we need to go into this studio with a plan. And the plan is this discussion. And you know we've been through it because, For those who don't know, me and Jimmy come from the same family. Although I'm the better looking one out of the bunch.
When he bodyguard,
It's not time for shots yet. It's not time for shots. But yes, we grew up. Everybody grew up in the time where it was a system. The system was.
Tusilangia story. Jima naongea kuhusu forehead. Enye continue.
First of all, Jirongi, what are you complaining about? You need to speak up.
Yeah.
Speak up.
I'm just wondering, why are you hiding your forehead?
What's up, man?
My forehead.
Top 10 wanted, man. With the shades, with the
Maybe
the ladies want to see
Oshea Jita.
Gambino.
What Gambino?
Oshea Gambino.
Alafu hiyo jina ingine pretty boy.
Pretty boy.
Yeah, the only pretty with me is my forehead. So at least unaweza iona. The only thing I share with Oshea ni my forehead.
We have a few minutes to go, so let's in the next 4 minutes introduce the topic. So, yes, we're told to go to school. We're told what we're supposed to be doing. We're told what our parents want out of us. But when do we get to the point where we want what we want for ourselves? And some of us went into the path like Jimmy, music, like Chirongi, music, like Oshea, music. Me, I'm still trying to find my way, but I found my way back. And it's always a thing of your path is determined. Sindio? Unafanya 844, unamaliza, unaenda university. You go from there, you're either a doctor or a lawyer, but is a musician still held as a career? And that was a thing that used to happen back then. What about now? First of all, how was it for you, Jimmy, when you were mapping out your career?
mine was crazy because I started music when I was very young. I think I was like 14. And I started out on the mic. And back in the days, first of all, rap was not allowed. You could sing, we grew up in the church. And Dad was a pastor also. So you could sing in the church, but not outside. We're doing it outside, that was a no-no. And then on top of it, you're doing rap. Rap was discriminated. And then you say you want to build a career. After high school, I said I wanted to build a career. After that, it's like, that's a waste of time. We grew up in a family of teachers. So like, why can't you be a teacher? Or why can't you be a preacher? Those were the only alternatives. And so it was tough. It was really tough. But for me as an individual, I stood my ground because I felt like music and also becoming a producer was what was meant for me. But then it's like when you tell people I want to do music, it's like they feel like that's a waste of time, and they feel the music only works for, like they say, if you're not good in books, then get into music. So that's what you can do. And they always tell people, because back in the days, most musicians used to sing on the street corners. So they just imagine now I'd be one of those people singing in town, at the bus station, trying to get money. So that's how musicians were seen. So for my parents, it was a no-no, it was a waste of time.
By the way, Jimmy used to walk around with anointing oil, just FYI. TBT since it's Thursday. I think when I still have it.
Then I use it to fry food. Then I use it to fry food later.
It was pork oil ama ilikuwa what? Fish oil?
No, it was olive oil.
Olive?
But the glycerin, do you know the glycerin oil?
Olive oil.
Just look at the anointing oil, like, I
keep on
cast demons out of you.
Ilikuwa na keep out.
Alikuwa anatembea na Arimis.
There's no Arimis. Arimis is a wanna get you 94. Arimis was not even in existence.
Hey, no.
Even Ice Cube he had not dropped Vaseline that time. Well, holy water. We are talking about holy oil, eh?
Hey, it's a
Okay. They don't know what OG is.
I'm sorry, we have to get back into that TBT, but okay, fine.
There's no way.
Alright, when we come back after the break, we'll get back more into the origins of music and hip hop in this crew. We've got it from Jimmy. Now we'll go to Oshea and Rongi after the break. But before we come, after we come back, after we've paid some bills, we'll get into the conversation. Be sure to join in the conversation on all our socials. Hey, man, I need water today. Where? But yes, we'll be back.
Icon Radio.
We're back with the vault with me, Myra Maloba, the Afropunk Queen. We've also got in studio
Rongi, unajua tena it's not my fault kuwa hapa kama kawa.
Yo, kabisa. This is your boy Oshea Gambino hapa.
Haha, it's the BeatMekah. Yeah.
Must say these intros. They get interesting every week.
Yeah.
So remember to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Icon Radio KE, and streaming us on www.iconradio.co.ke. Drop in your likes, comments, shares. Do it all and show us some love because we do love you back. Right, before we went on the break, we did have the conversation about music and careers. Is it really a career? So Jimmy had told us where he had come from. You know, he's one of the pioneers of rap community.
Yes.
And rap in the gospel scene. If they didn't trail the trailblazers, a lot of people wouldn't be able to rap right now. The guys don't even know that. In the church, it wasn't being accepted. They fought for you guys to be able to do this. So mkifanya ma antics zenu na tunakuona huko Instagram kwa Edgar Obare, you know you're embarrassing people like akina Jimmy.
and if you are not walking with holy oil,
If you're not walking with holy oil,
AKA
Nasi ya cowboy.
AKA
No cowboy oil or Kimbo.
kama utembee na holy oil utaboil.
You have to work with olive oil.
anyway,
ama Myra wende ukurada. Hiyo kitu.
Listen, we leave things to the professionals.
Okay.
People who are there able to cast out demons. Me, I could not. If we could.
But nowadays I work with camel milk.
Oh my God. One day we will ask Jimmy to pray. You will hear the power of prayer that he has in his voice. When we will end one session with prayer. So, Oshea, what made you get into music and how was it perceived by your family?
Wow. Man, I don't know where to start from. Okay, you know, growing up, my mama wanted me to go into the banking industry. Mm-hmm. She wanted me to you know, try something like accounting. Yeah, she was like, okay, your father is accountant, your elder brother is accountant. They will help you with all that stuff. You should try. But me, I was different, you know.
Right.
Yeah, me nilikuwa nataka tu kufanya music like my uncle.
What your uncle? I was gonna ask you, what was the inspiration for music? Like, what made you say that
my uncle alikuwa legend. Side ya Upper Eastern ukienda Ethiopia, you know. Yeah, alikuwa anaitwa Mude Oshe. I was named after him. Mude Oshe. Yeah, he's a legend. Ukienda huko juu utaje jina yake. Yeah, ni Msembegi. So yeah, I come from the family, like yeah, it's in the family. Yeah.
Nephew.
Nikidungwa nikiwa saidi ya kwenyu unafaa kulia Mudeosha.
Yeah, ukinitaja they will come for you. Yeah. So she was against this music thing.
Yeah.
I think vile watu walikuwa wanafanya zamani with music, yeah. Ilikuwa different na what we are doing right now. Right now tuko so much into music business. Ukicompare na vile walikuwa wanafanya zamani, it was all about ladies and booze. So alikuwa anaona hiyo lifestyle yake, she was like, man, ukifanya vile atafanya we are done.
Yeah.
So
because of the lifestyle.
Yeah, you know, your uncle is like this, amefanya hivi na hivi, like hakuna place utaenda, you know.
It's a real OG.
Yeah.
But you could have been that way even if without music, Mazi. If you like the ladies, you like the ladies.
No, I think aliona the whole thing first hand, yeah. Unajua alikuwa anaishi kwetu. So alikuwa anaona ladies, alcohol and all that. So aliona tu nitaenda kukua kama yeye.
So in short, he was the real pretty boy.
He's the real OG.
He's the OG pretty boy.
Yeah, for sure.
Nice.
Yeah, but tulingangana at last alini support. Yeah, she even
Zile kusikia Nairobi Diaries.
Yeah, no, not even no, way before Nairobi Diaries. Actually,
You've agreed.
No. Actually, the thing is, she even sponsored my first video.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dope.
Nice.
Yeah. Then there was a time alikuwa amekaa kwa hao, amelala tu juu ya sofa akiwatch TV. Then Club 1 came on. I was on Club 1. She was like, wow, so it's happening.
Right.
It's for
Yeah,
real.
from there tulikuwa cool.
Nice.
Yeah, I think ni kuelewana tu. The thing is, wazazi wako na different perspective na vile tunafikiria na vile wanafikiria ni tofauti sana.
Yeah.
So it's all about sitting down na kuelewana,
Yeah.
Yeah. Because African parents wako so much into doctors, pilot,
Yeah.
engineer. So kenye tunafanya pia si mbaya.
And the funny thing is that the African culture is rooted around music.
Yeah.
You cannot do music. Yani, when you're trying to put a child to sleep, you sing. When you're cooking, you sing. When you're happy, you sing. When in marriage, you sing. When in death, you sing. Yani, it's part of us. So like that's something we really support. But in any case, I'm glad she supported you in the end. G,
Yeah.
I want to hear. You're telling me. Do you really want to hear my story? I want to hear your story.
Okay. Me, I wanted to be a gynecologist.
No wonder you
I
like the
love
W.
checking women.
Oh my God.
But the only problem, I didn't know how to spell, so when I checked the dictionary, I couldn't find the word gynecologist, so it was a problem for me to get that. But in short, mimi hata sikusoma, sikufika mbali. I think mimi nilifika 8 ama hata sikumaliza 8. I'm not really sure. Kama memory kangu hapo kidogo kana kongana PTSD. Mimi nilikuwa napigwa shule.
PTSD.
Nilipigwa. Nilikuwa napigwa. Tukishafika tu chuo naambia tuna head kuja papa ukifika pale mpaka anashinda kwa nimedunguri gani. But mi budangu, one thing he used to tell us. My dad never checked my homework book, never asked me kama nina homework, but he made sure kila kitu nili. So one thing he demanded from us, alikuwa anatuambianga soma sana uende Ulaya. That's all he said. But my big bro was a genius. So Zuri, my dad used to love to come to school to chukua hizo number ones na gifts. Yeah. But me, what I wanted to be, I don't know. I really don't know. I just wanted to be free. That's what I knew I wanted to be free, but I also wanted to do military. After kufika class 8 nikajua KDF huwezi fika na certificate ya 8. So me, I told myself I will only leave this earth with 2 certificates. But certificate not death certificate. Zaidi hapo share. But one thing I did on my own, I loved reading. I loved books. I read a lot of books. Mingi bro, nilikuwa nasoma mpaka vitabu za itangonana ujamaa wa cooperate brain wa states. Nasoma jina yake. He wrote a very dope book of how Ben Carson. Okay. So I think I was in class 5 and I read the whole book, biography of Ben Carson, and something funny, I could picture everything he was doing. So nilitaka cooperate, lakini me, I don't love blood. So
you got gifted hands.
Gifted hands. Bro, nikiwa class 6 nilisoma hiyo book. Nilikuwa namuona mpaka vile na explore brain za watu. But more than hiyo cooperate, alikuwa na zile the new ideas alikamnazo za
Siamese twins pia.
Yeah, hizo zote nilifurahia. But for me, I loved school, but I did not love the way we were being taught.
Right.
And then I knew since ningechuo nilijua I'll never get employed where you need certificate to get employed. But also I knew if I dropped that, I was gonna have to work 1,000 times hard than mtu ametoka university na certificate, because mtu ametoka university na certificate yeye kuchukuliwa ni rahisi, mimi kuchukuliwa ni ngumu. So I knew in my head like I will have to do 1,000 times more than mtu ametoka university. Which kind of ilinipe discipline fulani na ikapay off. Na out of hizo kusoma vitabu na vitu kama hizo nijipata tu naandika books.
Right.
Nikajipata naandika scripts. So siku fall mbali na what akili yangu ilikuwa nikiwa mdogo.
You were still able to read and write and apply whatever you learned.
Yeah, something funny actually. The moment I learned reading nikiwa shule, I think I was pale saa masomo ilinifungukia poa, was in class 4. Hapo ndo saa hizo mababa baby bobu, but ni abu kudu. But hizo mababa baby bobu vile tu zilitoka tu class 3. I think brain yangu ilifunguka pa nikiwa class 4.
Okay.
Na since that time utanipatanga tu chini ya desk na ma storybook na ma magazine na ma
asterisks na obliques
na drum. You remember drums, the magazines Africa as a drum, Popeye, Tintin, Gulliver's. I read every fairy tale book. I read every African book ya Kenya. I read like a lot of things. Vitu zingine hata sijui zilikuwa, but I just loved reading. Ukiona hata na kitabu ya Ben Carson, juu nilikuwa nimeboeka, I need to kill this time, so nikachukua kitabu ya Ben Carson. So I read a lot of things. And one thing my dad did, I told him I want to go to a library. He paid a library for me. Plus my siblings wangu. But hiyo library ilikuwa fun. Okay, hiyo ni story ilifai kutoka, but nilifanya maajabu library, but I got a lot of books. Alafu pia kwa shule yetu mwalimu wa library notice I love reading, so he used to call me nimsaidie ku arrange books kwa shelves na vitu kama hizo. Out of that I could get books and go with them home. But kwa class sijui kwa nini brain yangu ilikuwa think nil that photo, tengo si photogenic, photo memory ile ikiona kitu already share master. So for me hata mwalimu akikaa hapo andike notes, mimi nilikuwa nazisoma tu. Naandika points of story naandika na rudi kwa books zangu nasoma.
Nice. It's really interesting to hear people's backgrounds, because nobody ever knows. Like, people think it's automatic, So when we come back, we'll delve more into what made your parents now finally start identifying your talents and getting you guys to now get into it seriously. We'll be right back after this.
Icon Radio.
This is The Vault, where we do this each and every Thursday from 10 to 12 with me, Myra Maloba, the Afro-Punk Queen. We've also got
Rongi, unajua tena, it's not my fault kama kawa tuko kwenye vault.
Yo, pretty boy swag hapa. Oshea Gambino in the house.
Yes, the BeatMekah all the way, not the beat taker.
We miss Hitch. Hitch, we miss you.
Free Hitch.
Can't wait to have you back in studio. Maze, how do they say it? Mateso ni kwa muda. Mateso ni kwa muda. Yes, we shall overcome. Yes, we can't wait to have him back in studio, because we need that music, we need that life. Maybe my energies are kidogo low, but I'm getting there. So anyway, our conversation today was music and careers. Yani, having the career in music. And a lot of you guys have said eventually we got to a point where we were being supported. Like, I remember, for Jimmy, it was a fight. It was a fight daily. But due to his determination, and when he was awarded for some of the things that he did, the pride that was in that house. When the trophies were there, when he was on TV, there was like, my son, yes, he was in KCC performing. My son, yes, he got the trophy for this, that, and the other. And then 2 weeks down the line, amnesia sets in and it's back to the same fight. But yeah, at first it's always a fight, but that determination, your self-drive, how did you get what drove you to the point where now you are able to be listened to and say, okay, now this is what I'm doing, whether you're behind me or not, this is my path?
I think for me, I've always just been determined in everything I touch. I just be like, I've got to make it work. Then second of all, I had a crew behind me. We were 7 of us. And everyone went through. I'm not the only one who went through problems. There's a time that Big Ted was literally being thrown out of the house by his dad.
Oh, really?
Like, yeah, it's like all of us went through that. All of us went through those headaches. I remember there's a time I'd come from a concert, and I think I came home around 9 o'clock in the evening. And Dad was waiting for me at the gate. Not in the house, at the gate. And he literally told me, you either choose the music or you choose your family. I was given that and I'm standing at the gate. And I walked around, I turned back, I started walking toward the street. And he pulled me by the collar and said, where do you think you're going? So it's interesting the interesting thing is that, like, we actually, in our family, we come from a musical family.
Hey.
We have several people that are musical in our family. We have uncles that were musicians. My own mom was in a music group, called the Munyala Town Choir. So we come from a long history. And I didn't know till a few years ago when my late uncle passed away, yeah, Uncle David, that my dad told me that he was actually a music producer. I didn't know
really?
that. Yeah, I didn't know that he was a music producer. And so we've come from a long line. So you'd expect, because you come from a long line of people on music, that they would just embrace it.
Exactly.
But they're like no. And to be honest, I fought with my dad for over 10 years. And the only time that he fully accepted the choice that I want to be a music producer was 2 weeks before I went to the UK. That's when he accepted it and said, if this is the choice you want to make. Because I refused to go to any college, by the way, in Kenya. I think, what am I going to go study? You know?
I hope
I refused. I was like, no. Like after high school, I was forced into a counseling class that I had to go and learn theology. You know, my dad told me, you have to go. There was always somewhere I had to go.
Right.
That I wasn't around the other people that are around. And then he saw my friends also as evil people. Like they're trying to lead me astray. Like I remember he really didn't like Big Ted or Sarcute, or he got along with Big Kev because Big Kev used to come to his church. So, but there are a couple. So we just seemed like we were ruffians.
Right.
But I think if you really want to make it in life, you got to be determined to follow your dream.
Yeah.
And if you're not, a positive dream, not that you want to be a thug. Your dream is go rob people from the time you're in nursery, and you're like, that's gonna be my career. If it's a positive dream, then go all the way. Don't give up on it, because eventually, it's gonna happen.
Right.
Yeah.
Because look at it, what it did for, Big Kev went to school, but he still, with his entertainment company, eventually still came back to music. And that's what has fed him and many others that he brought up in True Black. True Black. Big Ted, the same thing.
The event company, that was his company.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they all made something out of what they did, and they're all passionate about it. But if you talk to every single one of those guys, they'll tell you it was never easy.
Yeah.
They went through a lot of stuff. I mean, we've all been through that. I mean, Oshea has given his story how his mom and dad were not feeling, but his mom ended up funding his first video. It's because he believed that this is what was meant for him, and he's still doing back till today. You know, like I said, I never actually did college in Kenya.
Right.
You know what people call college. I did some training, but I decided production is for me, and there are no production colleges in Kenya. So when I got a chance to go work in the UK, I decided I have to enroll in a production college over there,
right,
in Stoke-on-Trent, Burslem campus. That's where I did it, and that helps me a lot to fulfill what I'm still doing till today.
Right.
So there's vision in life. What they say, there's vision, there's purpose. So you've got to know what your purpose is.
Right.
You know, once you know what your purpose is, you're always gonna fulfill it. That's what I believe in.
And I have the same question for you, Rongi. Like, your determination has taken you across the world.
Yep.
What made you stick to it?
First of all, when your time mimi mwenyewe niko primo nini natoka chuo, I knew I had a purpose on this earth. The only problem, I didn't know what I'm supposed to do, but I felt I knew I'm supposed to be something or somebody, or I'm supposed to do something on this earth. So I started with football. Ikaenda poa, but problem ni that time mko mtaani mcheza maisha, mnacheza hii, mnadu a lot of things, dreams ni kwenda Norway na vitu kama hizo. Alafu baadaye unakuja unakuta kuna a lot of bureaucracy, as in a lot of things, ndio. So one time niko in between ball na niko mtaani, I saw Mulama that time. It was not Uko Flani, it was Mulama. They had organized a hood show. And then I saw people rapping, and nilikuwa naona kama wana fly kwa stage. I was just like, yani nikashikwa tu na kitu fulani na niambia, yani hapo ndo ndibaki. I was like, so I befriended mwenyeji. Now we became friends, but later Ka was the one who like taught me how to rap and do everything.
Right.
But that time I hadn't told my mom. you know, because when I told my mom I want to play football, he told me that's what you want to do, that's good, because in a poor hood, so you'd rather play football than just sit around and rob people and just come off vijana wengine. So nacheki, so my mother yangu was like, football nimechoose, poa, I support you. She supported me up to where pale kwa naweza hadi lezo yake. Alafu ile nilikam nikaingia muziki, nikamwambia mom, kwanza ni I think a woman came and told him there was a show. I don't remember what it was called. What all called ilikuwa Nation. People used to go, I don't know, somewhere in Embakasi there kwa nini ya Sweps.
Is it the warehouse?
Yeah, the warehouse. Ilikuwa ito warehouse? Yeah. So my mom saw me on warehouse. Not my mom, friends of my mom saw me on warehouse, and they came to tell my mom, you know, we saw your kid on TV. So my mom was so happy, like, you're on TV. Keep doing that. And then F2. So I used to come and tell my mom, I'm supposed to go F2 to rap and I don't have money. My mom used to give me money. And actually, ushiona mama yako anapewa pesa when the club, but akwambie anything. So ilibidi mimi mwenyewe ndo nijipange. So when I used to go to clubs, I could see people na madem na manini wana drink, I never did all that stuff. You know, I was sober and I go club nikiwa sober, natoka club nikiwa sober, because I know I don't want to next time nikuja kuambia mama yangu niaje shule dingedo. Alafu F2 kulikuwa na makompe, so I used to win money, like you could win 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, 40,000, and when I win I used to bring it to my mama and nampatia, naambia naje mama, hii ndio tumeshinda. So my mom kind of used to see, he noticed napenda, he used to see the love in my face and everything, the happiness, jam session, and then he will see the returns of what I was doing. So my mom was very supportive in it. I could say maybe aliniwacha before even he saw my first song, but he saw what I was doing. Even after that he saw me on TV and was like, wow, nimekuona kwa TV, keep doing that, but avoid a lot of street things. But so then Dandora, you can't do anything. The street thing is your friends, it's your brothers and avituka hizo. But it really keep alive even as a sema. So in my head I was like, I'd rather die doing music than doing anything else. It's not because I can't, but alafu pia maboys wangu wa hood walikuwa juu, uko poa rap, hizi biashara zingine wachana nazo, ukitaka anything come to studio, sisi kama ni mafea nini tutakujenga. Na walini support sana, even when we put Momo Camp, you notice today in Momo Camp there's a lot of security, but you won't see it. That's why I usually say security is my security, but because the bad boys hao wanataka ku make sure base yetu iko clean. Like, so ilinifanya pia nikakuwa mtaani, nikakuwa nisemaje, si don, but iliniweka mahali na wale maoji wanasema G is doing something positive,
a place of respect,
a place of respect, unajua. Na for me that's what I usually cash in every time I go to the hood, is that love, that respect, and even the OGs be like, yo G, keep it up, even even
we saw it actually. We saw the love,
so
the
even
security,
even for example, once upon a time I used to do a lot of vices, nilikuwa kama drugs. I used to go places kubai, wase wananiambia G, we are not selling you. We need to see you kwa studio na vitu kama hizo. Like even the drug dealers be like, G, if you want to go to the studio, tutachanga and we'll take you to the studio. And they told everybody, I don't want to see anybody giving him anything or selling him anything. Like walikuwa that serious.
Nice.
I don't know how, but there was just something people used to be like, yo G, kind of ni kama watu walikuwa wanani control, wanani direct na wananifanya vitu kama hizo. But it was all love, hivyo tu ninasema. So after hapo mimi nikajiambia, for me I'll just give back and try to do as much as possible. Unaona, I might not make it in music, but I know I can help people to make it in music.
Love that.
That's the only thing I can give back to the society.
Love that, and I love to end it on that note. When we get back in the second hour, we'll be now getting into the common misconceptions around music and its careers.
Icon Radio.
All right, we are back. This is The Vault, where we do this each and every Thursday from 10 to 12. We've been having a very interesting conversation with myself, Myra Maloba, the Afro-punk queen, Jimmy the BeatMekah, Double Crusher. We also have Pretty Boy Swag in the house, Oshea, Gambino.
Yeah, that's what's up.
And of course, Rongi Matigari.
Yes, unajua jeshi ya kuondoka is not my fault, but mnafahamu sikiza The Vault. Unajua Rongize.
Oza. When we're having the break and we're actually listening to some of the music, we were talking about guys who actually dropped out and have made it big in life. You said you were watching who? Nas the other day.
Yeah, Nas.
We also had Kanye West. He had even a whole album dedicated to it with the name College Dropout.
There's Notorious B.I.G.
Notorious B.I.G. Who else?
Jay-Z.
Jay-Z. Did Jay-Z?
Jay-Z alikuwa drugs, sorry.
Right, yeah, he was a drug.
They were in the same school with Biggie, actually. Yeah.
All of them people, akina Busta Rhymes, akina Nani.
Even 50 Cent, man.
Even 50.
Jirongi, you gave us your story.
Even Jirongi. Kuna wengi. Wewe unaniangushia ngori.
No, but it just goes to show determination. Your determination is what gets you where you want to be. There's no limitation in life.
And one thing that people don't realize is most of these guys who actually dropped out of high school were very clever. They didn't drop out because they were dumb or something, or they couldn't handle school. They were actually very sharp.
Like Biggie.
Yeah, Biggie was like him. He was crazy with mathematics. He was very sharp.
Right.
He wasn't no slow guy.
Right.
He knew how to get through school.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think it's the same case with Nas, Nas alikuwa boy smart nini shule. The mother was a teacher. Even the way he arranged his album, hakuna mtu alimsaidia. Like he was the one alikuwa amearrange kila kitu.
Although he believes very strongly in school, he's always telling guys, go to school, read, even the song we're listening to. I know I can.
Yeah, exactly.
He educates in his own way, but he says still, even if he didn't, don't be like me, go to school, finish school. Yeah.
Me what I can say is the funniest thing about life here. Mimi hata sikusomanga ati sana, but kwa life yangu nimejipata napeana lectures kwa university. Nafundisha college, nafundisha primary school, mpaka nafundisha watu wadogo. And I did that for fun, just to show like I can do this.
Right.
Unajua, alafu plus I had my own ideas of learning. All the mistakes the teachers did with me, I tried to perfect them with the next generation. Unajua, that's the reason even I started writing books about learning.
Right.
About how you can crack languages and stuff like that in the most easiest kind of way you can do. Unajua, sometimes you don't drop out of school because you hate school. Maybe because you don't fit in that space at that moment.
Right.
But maybe later on you can do something.
But your mind also works in a crazy way. The wordplay usually come up with in the studio and say, you can't go to school for that. You cannot go to school for that.
Another thing is, like, let me give you guys a true story and where schooling comes in for me. When I was 15, I used to go to this guy's place. He used to produce music for me. This is the almighty famous Mr. Ted Josiah. That's when he was not what people know now. He's living in his parents' house in the SQ and he's making beats. And I remember there was a time we were working on the beat and I was writing and I was flowing for him. And he was counting the beats, when you're making beats on the computer. And he turned to me and he said that I better finish school. He said, don't ever think that you can run away from school and you can run away from mathematics and physics. These things are things that you need to learn. So for you to progress in your life.
Right.
So there's a theory, like I said before, that a lot of people who get into the music industry, why they got in is because they couldn't make it in learning.
Right.
And so when you see a lot of artists in Kenya, they say, probably that guy wasn't that clever. It wasn't that clever to succeed. So the only thing he could do was get into music or be a plumber or do some other work activities. Just like that's a very major misconception, and that's something that people need to really look at. Don't look at someone and assume they cannot make it.
Right.
You can't just look at someone and be like, they're like, if I look at Rongi and be like, Rongi is looking all hip hop, and be like automatically, like he's like this because he couldn't make it in learning. We have this misconception in Kenya that for you to make it, you have to be either a lawyer, a doctor, like Oshea was saying, an accountant.
Right.
There's certain fields that you have to be in, and those, if you look at those fields, most of them are suit and tie. So are we saying that if we're not suit and tie people, that we can't make it?
That was, in fact, my question. What are the common misconceptions you've heard about your taking up a career in music? Because music is not easy to do as well.
Not at all.
By the time you're coming up with your lyrics, by the time you're coming up with the beats, even just watching Jimmy do what he does, me already choke out with my brain. I'm like, by the way, this ain't for everybody.
Me, one thing I would like to say, na hii ukiangalia future the future we are going to right now, it's nothing to do with certificates, it's everything to do with creativity.
Right.
It's all about creativity. Kuanzia kina Elon Musk, kuanzia kina nani, all these billionaires, concepts zao za business, it was all about creativity. And the more vile ukiangalia sasa wanazidi, it's all about creativity in business. Alafu creativity ni kitu naamini, I will create this then I'll push it and it will work. Unajua cause it's a creation. Na ukiwa creative, you are in God mode. I believe I usually say what you can't create, don't kill. Unajua, so for example, if you can create, where you are God, because in the beginning God created, it starts like that. Unajua, it's all about creation. Ikuwe ni beat, ikuwe ni rhyme, ikuwe ni mtoto, ikuwe tu ni ideas, it's all about creativity. It doesn't matter, it's nothing to do with masomo, kwa sababu tu kufundishwa shule. Watu sai shule za sai uende shule kuthink, unaenda kuambiwa hivi ndo kunaenda, alafu wewe una learn kitu fulani, hivyo ndo kunaenda. But you can't think out of the box. Na ukithink out of the box, it's called creativity. You start creating. No wonder unaona hata watu wanatoka shule anaona buda itabidi ni do business, hakuna mali na choro job, ana create ka job kake even kakuza mahindi. You will have to create something in order to ishi na kunini. But shule inasaidia na nini? Vitu mob, you're not illiterate, you know how to count, yani kuna vitu fulani shule inasaidia. Problem ni hazita kusaidia kila mahali. Mimi shule pale ilinisaidia, ilinifundisha kusoma, kuspell na kucalculate.
And it's those misconceptions that even made people actually just chomoa nini music and the arts from the curriculum, which I felt was a really dumb move.
You know
it was a
Myra,
so wacha nijibu hiyo. It was a political move because creative people, you can't suppress creative people. Alafu generation haina creativity, ukitoa hizo subject kwa shule, people will be robots. They won't have time to think creatively. Najua, so it's easy to dumb them down.
Oshea, what do you think? 5 seconds.
Okay, for me nilikuwa naona like music and shule inaweza enda hand in hand, like unaweza fanya music at the same time usome. But most of our parents wanaona ni kama it's a way ya kurebel, kukua umeharibika, the moment there was a time nilikuwa nafanya, as for me nilianza music kitambo, nikiwa mdogo, Sasa there was a time nikiwa class 5 hapo 6, nilifanya exam, then nikageuza paper, nikaandika music nyuma. So mwalimu alikuwa anapitia kimark test, aligeuza akaona nimeandika mangoma nyuma, then alinita staff room, akararua exam mbele ya walimu wote wakiwa kwa staff room. It was like umeharibu exam juu ya kuandika hizi vitu hapo nyuma. If only angejua hiyo kitu ilikuwa inaniban, that kind of move ndio inakufanya drop out of school. Angeni encourage tu aniambie, we fanya exam then music ufanye after shule. Angenipatia that I was a katoi class 5-6. Okay, nilikuwa najua nafanya music, but sikuwa najua singefanya hapo nyuma,
But that could have also enhanced your learning capabilities, because you're trying to write, you're trying to read at the same time, but they never look at it that way. Rongi will be back with your thoughts after the break. We're going to pay some bills and then we'll be back after this. The conversation is now heating up.
Icon Radio.
You have been listening and watching The Vault here on Icon Radio, where we are your number one entertainment plug. Remember, you're streaming us on www.iconradio.co.ke, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Mixcloud, Soundcloud, yote. Tuko Icon Radio KE. I'm in studio with the boys, the audience crew on radio.
Spime,
today because we just didn't have Hitch in the house, but he's coming back.
Free Hitch, man.
We'll be back to factory settings very, very soon. But the conversation has been heating up, and I loved what Rongi said while we were on the break. What was the idea to take to schools? Because man says that creativity needs to come back.
I believe in schools there are people who are good in writing and stuff like that, but the only problem the rules is now they keep them out. So I had this idea. I wanted to go in shule za ghetto. Everybody do freestyle writing. Doesn't matter ni Sheng, ni Kiswahili sanifu ama ni English. And then the best one, something which is usually out of school, season like grammar nini, yani ikuwe something story. It's all about storytelling, ndio. So watu waandike vile wanajisikia, wa using language, wa combine Kiswahili, English, anything watumie. Ndio. Alafu the best, let's say we can say the best like 100 composition, we put them in books. Alafu if we can sell them, the money goes back to the people. At the same time also hizi zingine sta encourage watu wasi give up kuandika, kwa sababu mwalimu wako ni wa English na anataka English pure English, ama mwalimu wa Kiswahili anataka pure Kiswahili, imaanisha ati ni mwisho yako the love of writing. Unajua, but also it doesn't mean you don't learn grammar, don't learn nini, unajua, but also it gives you an alternative to explore, na kujiexpress, kwa sababu for me najimuji express poa na sheng. Sometimes na express poa na Kizungu, sometimes na Kiswahili, sometimes with my mother tongue, depending na vile na feel that moment ya kujiexpress, ama vile hiyo story ama hiyo expression inafaa kutoka, unajua. Alafu we don't need to put grammar in it, kwa sababu for me my books zile nimeandika kuhusu learning languages, it was nothing to do lazima uongee good proper English, because the world right now is a global village. The most important thing is communication. Nimekuget, umeniget. Siazen kusiati nianze kujudge. Siati nianze kujudge ati umebonga sana ujaweka koma, umebonga sana ujaweka paragraph. As in just be you, bonga. As long as nashikanisha sifai kutoa makosa, because understanding is the beginning of everything. So unajua. So that was my idea, and I hope that's my dream actually. I hope it will go through.
I hope you carry Kenya
nzima. Because even when I met Uhuru Kenyatta, I told him that, but he thought, hey, this nigga is so powerful, he'll take over. I said, chill kidogo, nyie mjanishika poa. I said when I met Uhuru, I'm not, but do I say, aliona ninja, mbona mshikanishi my people? Alikuwa na wisuka binja.
Grammar expert.
So yeah, that's I believe in that, because we need alternative learning. We need alternative kind of learning, because the world where we are going is if primary English nini, they won't apply in the world we are going. The world we are going to the world of memes, slangs, what. Our parents are the one who are supposed to learn proper learning languages, but the world we are going is a global village. So itabidi you mix a Spanish here, you mix a Mexican here, you mix a French here, na pale for communication purposes. Na as long as tumepatana, tumegetiana, no problem. Understanding is.
But then again, you've got to ask yourself, if in Kenya right now, in 2021, because we're in 2022, we don't know what will happen after elections.
I know.
But between now and that phase, we got to ask ourselves, what if I was an unconventional artist, you know, and I wanted to go to a college, you know, like for example, like abroad, even if you didn't go to school, but you're a bit older, it's called mature student. You go to a college and say, I want to join, and they're like, okay, so what have you been doing the last couple of years? And provided you can show them proof that you're doing a certain art form, they'll allow you in. You know, they'll allow you in. It's not like where was your KCSE result? There's nothing like that. It was just show proof. So my question is, in Kenya that we live in, if I was this mainstream, like I had all this crazy thinking that I want to develop myself in the music sector, in the art sector, are there any institutions currently in Kenya that we can go to?
I actually found a few online as we were talking, and I'll just name drop, even if we're not getting paid. It's just so that we educate guys on the actual schools where you can actually learn music and make a career, and even learn how to make a career out of it. Like Melody House Music School, Kenya Conservatoire of Music, I'm sure everybody knows that one. 5-star Nairobi School of Music, Kamata School of Music as well. And of course, there's the streets where we can come to people like Jimmy, Oshea, Rongi, and nurture the talent that is out there. Guys, I think ever since we started the vault, guys have been coming up to you guys, right or wrong, and they're like, listen, we want that stage. We want you guys to show us the way. We want that mentorship, right?
And there's a university, the best university in the world, the University of YouTube.
That's true.
Okay, Myra. Even before we get there, I think even the teachers and the parents should be open-minded. You know, talented kids wanakuanga rebels naturally. you know, mtu anataka kufanya hiyo ngoma akiwa class 4, so hata ako ready to drop out just to follow music.
Right.
But before we get to that point, I think ni mwalimu na wazazi ndio wanafaa come in, you know, to show the kids direction. Yeah, fanya hivi na hivi, music pia utafanya. Si ati usifanye music around that, nitakudison. Unajua kama utasoma, kama utafanya, it's all about helping your kids.
It's unrealistic. They sit at home listening to some of the greatest musicians.
Exactly.
And they admire them and they want to hear them, and then they tell you don't do it. Yet you're listening to some of the greatest people in music.
Now we have him here at the
But
studio. He used to be my role model. Now we're here in the same studio.
Oshea, let me ask you a question since you brought up that.
Yeah.
If your daughter came to you right now and she had that fire, she's still young, still in school, but she has that fire for being in music, what would your advice to her be? What would you tell her? It's like, Dad, I want this now.
You know, I'll support her 100.
You sure?
Yeah, 100.
So you tell her, get on the mic.
These things, yeah, of course. Why not?
So you book for her studio.
I even brought her to your place, to the studio one time. You know, just to show her around. She loves music, you know.
And some of the greatest artists, as a result of their parents, Michael Jackson, even though it was the harshest of ways, their parents pushed them.
I even I took her to Jimmy's place one time to show her the studio, keyboards and all that. After that, tulikuwa home. Alikuwa tu zile Dad, ni lazima unibai keyboard, you know.
Yeah, sometimes, like you said, the support is enough to make the success out of a person.
Exactly.
Can I give an advice which I usually give my kids? I tell my kids, do whatever you want to do, or whatever makes you happy, but make sure whatever you're doing, it doesn't take, it gives back.
Right.
And you're getting paid to do it.
Right.
Even if it's not for payment, make sure whatever you do, if you choose a career, make sure it's a good career that gives back to the people. Yeah. Either you choose a doctor, make sure you'll get paid for it, but you'll give back to the society. Unajua, if you do music, you'll give back to the society.
Right.
But don't choose a career whereby it's all about taking. Unajua, that's not a career. And then usually, when for example, if my kids tell me they want to do music, I tell them, I want to do music, let's go to the studio.
Right.
So ndio, sinajiamini that moment. Akiingia studio kirecord mara ya kwanza ndio ata comprehend. It's not the way I see it on TV. It's totally something different. So intentionally mwenyewe personally atakwambia, hey, let me go prepare myself. So your moment of preparation, what he will learn what it takes to be an artist or a musician. Atajua si easy. Usimnyime, but walk him through it. Take him there. Kama ni bola anataka kucheza, twende ground kijana wako wangu. Cheza ball. Aheme hapo mpaka kumbe nakwambia, you need to practice like every day, so you unataka kukimbia, you wanna be Usain Bolt. Kasarani ndio hiyo. Kimbia kijana wangu. Record ya Usain Bolt ni gani? Ni hii 9 point something. Run. Akimbia notice, hapa he will start understanding. But problem ni ukikataza mtoto bila understanding. Mimi nikiambia mtoto wangu, I don't want to give you this, and ulize why, nikwambia then touch it. Aguze skeni moto, hey sorry, that's why I told you I don't want to give you this. So he'll understand. So
you know what I think is from the other side. We look at from the other side because we are in the arts here, so we know about the arts.
Yeah.
But the reason also a lot of people have said why they don't want their kids to get into music and things like that is because they don't see any prospect in it. For example, a few years ago, if you wanted to become a footballer, right? Some parents would also say that's a waste of time. Until they started seeing football making money.
Right.
You know, and them rising in football and them getting the accolades that they need and everything. So I think a lot of times the parents from the other side, they put it down because they don't see any prospect in it. When I was growing up as a kid, you'd walk in town, there would always be people performing. You know, people doing all these gymnast things on the road. You know, they're doing there was so much arts that was going on in Kenya. So you've got to ask yourself also, in this year that we live in, what has happened? What has changed, you know? Because I think that's a big determining factor. That's why they try to put down people that are, and they say you couldn't make an education. But does that mean even for the people who didn't do well in high school, who went through all the way to high school, but they got maybe a D or an E, does that mean that they can't make it?
No, it doesn't end there. So what would be your parting shots for People who want to make it in music?
I've told people this, not just in music, but in the work they do. There's a statement that I once wrote, a quote, I read about it, and the person said, I can teach you how to cook, but I cannot teach you how to be hungry. You know, you gotta want that. That's part of your vision and your purpose. You gotta. So if this is something that you really want to do, if it's music, something else that you're really passionate about, follow it through. Don't give yourself excuses why you cannot make it. All of us here, like I remember when I was starting out, I didn't have any money, and the first time Ted Josiah met me, he told me, now you've got to understand, this was back in the days, this is like 93, 94. He told me, I'm going to charge you 500 shillings for a beat. I didn't even have 500 shillings. They told me, okay, if you don't have 500 shillings, come with a floppy disk. I don't know if you guys remember floppy disk. But it comes with a floppy disk and a cassette.
Right.
I didn't even have a cassette. So I rubbed my dad's cassette to put the beat on. He doesn't know, so X-Files coming out now. But put on his cassette. Put on his cassette, his Lingala cassettes, you know. And I remember I woke up very early in the morning to walk from Langata to South Beat. I didn't have no money.
Right.
My dad definitely was not. In fact, I snuck out of the house before he woke up.
Right.
So he didn't know where I was. The point is, if you're determined, you're going to succeed. There's nothing that's stopping you from not making it. If you're going by what people, there are always going to be three kinds of people in this life. The people who love you, the people who hate you, and there's people who don't care. Now, you can't make all of them happy. Right. So choose what you're going to do. And I hope that you're going to keep your purpose wide and you're going to work on what you feel that God has put in your heart to do.
Word. And on that note, on those wise words, we're heading straight into the cypher. We've got an amazing guest in the house. Blast from the past, coming back to the scene. Jim White in the house. I am so looking forward to this, man. So Rongi, always surprising us. Always got that box of chicks here. Good one. So yes, we'll be back with the cypher after this. Do not move an inch.
Icon Radio, your number one entertainment plug.